What's up, YouTube? I'm sitting down, well, virtually, with my dear friend, Lucas Botkin. Lucas, we're actually friends, unlike, well, I'm going to say, I probably should watch my mouth. Unlike, always be like, oh, yeah, I'm friends with Lucas. I'm like, I don't think you are, but okay.
Yeah, you actually are friends with me. It's true. Yeah, we actually are friends. Yeah.
Can't help myself. Well,
Texting texting someone once a year, uh once every 2 years, I don't think I mean you can do that with friends, but you need a lot of goodwill to do that effectively. So yeah. We text a little bit more than that.
yeah, twice a year.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, once a year, be well, bro. I'm like, oh, gee, thanks. Well, I have a bunch of questions to ask you. I thought maybe a fun place to start would be how we ended up meeting. I don't know. I think that's kind of fun. And well, I'll just tell a quick story. So, Lucas is obviously a big deal on the internet, especially Instagram, YouTube, has been for quite a while. I remember seeing a lot of your content and thinking, like, man, this guy has a lot of people watching him, and there's some stuff. Maybe it's very self-centered or arrogant of me. I'm like, I think I know some stuff to contribute about his shooting, or some pointers I could give that would be helpful to him. It's like I'm not going to drop it in a comment. I'm just going to message this guy and see what he has to say if he would be open to my unsolicited advice. Because normally, like that's not. Let's be real. That's not super productive. Normally, if I just walk up and be like, "Hey, you don't know me, but let me tell you what your problem is," like, okay, cool, thanks. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just DM'd you on Instagram, which probably went to your spam. And I'm well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a nothing account with maybe a couple thousand followers, if that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. At the
And then
time.
yeah, and I was surprised you actually read it and you replied, and I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, cool." And which I was kind of surprised you did, honestly. I didn't know what to expect. So I remember I offered to make you a video, just kind of explaining your shooting and some stuff that I thought some changes in your techniques. You're like, "Yep, okay, sounds good." So I made this video and I just dropped it to you. I dropped you it was an unpublished YouTube link, and
I
you
remember
watched
it.
it. Yeah, and then like
Little red lines and little green lines.
yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
much it was autism. I was like writing on the screens like, "Hey, you're doing this. This is what I'd like to see. This is what I think it should look like. What do you think?" And then like 10 minutes later, you messaged me like, "Hey, what would you charge to come to a class with me?" I was like, "Wait, what? Okay, yeah, I'm down. Let's do this. This sounds cool."
It was fun. Yeah. And I enjoyed the video, although I'll be honest, I don't know if I've told you this. I had a really hard time understanding the video. Like I don't learn that way, but
Okay.
I could tell from the video, I was like, okay, he knows what he's talking about, or at least he thinks he knows what he's talking about, but it seems to make sense. I need to get him out here in person to see it in real life because I didn't get a ton out of that video, to be honest.
Really?
The main thing I got was I'm doing a bunch of stuff wrong that I don't even know about. And I need to see this in person to really like impart it, which is why I was like, hey, why don't you just come out and show me? If you had sent me 10 videos, it would not have worked with me. I don't learn that way.
No, I need to be
I gotta,
like,
I gotta
uh,
see it.
it's got to be like a 5 to 7 minute video or less. I tried to even keep it brief, but I'm gonna go back
Yeah.
and revisit that. Now I'm curious now what I'm sure I can do it
No,
way better now.
I don't learn that way. I don't learn that way. I like to see it in person, ask questions, very specific questions, see it from all angles. As soon as we can film videos in 3D, then maybe we can do that. But without wearing the goofy glasses, though. I don't
Yeah.
want to have to do that. Yeah,
Dude, that's interesting. So you're willing to like set aside a weekend to have me out to
yeah,
train, but you didn't even really know for sure if I knew what I was talking about. Is that a fair assumption?
yeah. More or less, yeah. Now I knew that you ran with Ben, and I knew a lot about I knew enough about Ben that I'm like, yeah, he's extremely skilled. He hangs out with Joel, so there's stuff there. And then Franca was also involved at the time. So I knew, like, well, he's got to know some stuff. He sent me this video. He did it really nicely. So, yeah, I'll get something out of, training with him. I didn't know exactly how much. And then you turned all my shooting inside out, and then I've been busy with that ever since. So it was
Well,
good. It was a little gamble, but very effective.
I,
Small gamble for a weekend's worth of time.
it's very kind of you to say. Honestly, like I'll be real on my side, I didn't know what to expect at all. I think that was kind of part of the fun because let's be real, honestly, a CEO of a multi-million dollar company, um, it's not, if you get better at shooting, in my opinion, from outsider, I can't speak for you. It didn't really seem like it would change your life in one way or the other because you're already plenty good at doing content that for like T-Rex
Mhm.
purposes or marketing, you're already way better than most people. For people familiar with like action shooting, I'd say you're USPSA A or M class, somewhere in there at the time.
Mhm.
So not national champion, but pretty good, better than most people. So like how into training is this guy going to be? What is this even going to be like? And I remember after the first day of us shooting, I was almost late to dinner because my friend, well, a couple people had called me like, "Hey, how did it go? What'd you think? How was he good?" Pranka called me and he wanted to know times. Like, what was his time on this drill? What were the hits like? He was super
Oh, that's so
interested.
funny.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
nobody really knows what to expect, you know. So anyway, the other thing I guess that impressed me right off the bat was whatever I told you, you would accept it, but you were looking for a better way for absolutely everything I told you. It wasn't that you're like
Now,
discounting it, but you're like, hey, can I do it better
right.
this way? Like, what about this? Like, you were constantly, you didn't
Yeah.
just, okay, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Or no, I don't like it. I'm going to keep doing it my way,
Yeah,
which is usually what's more common, I feel
sure,
like. Yeah.
sure. But I was impressed that I didn't have to repeat myself and that you were like, yeah, that's pretty good, but what would I do better than that? Or what's the next step? So anyway, I thought
Yeah.
that kind of was just interesting.
It's interesting.
So anyway, yeah, you could tell I like Lucas immediately. Um, well, my first question is a little bit of a doozy. I'm going to add in some questions before that you probably or some statements
Oh, good. 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 Good.
probably won't even want to talk about or acknowledge, but that's okay. So I know some stories that aren't really public. Hopefully Lucas doesn't mind too much or make me edit this out. Well, I don't know if I would. I probably would, but it's some info that I think will lead into my question. So Lucas, you might not even know that I know some of this stuff, but I'm aware that you hired someone back to T-Rex after they got caught stealing from you, and you gave them a second chance. I believe the theft was on the level that law enforcement was involved, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, you don't have to acknowledge, just that's something. I know there's a rifle component that was a prototype that was removed
Mhm.
from T-Rex custody, and after it was returned, that person ended up bringing that specific part to market. Um, and you never said anything publicly about that I'm aware of anyway. I mean, you could have. Nothing I ever saw, and that was, in my opinion, straight up stolen from you or T Rex, whichever. Um, like I was joking about when we started. I mean, I see a lot of people that pretend to be your friends that honestly clearly aren't. Like I said, I remember seeing one person that said they weren't your friend. I didn't even have to ask him. Like, yep, that's not really Lucas's friend, or that'd be like a fake, internet friend. And like you say nice things about people that I don't really think have your best interests at heart. If we're being real, like I would say that to your
Sure.
recording or not. So anyway, the question is like all this has to wear on you. Most people would fire back. They'd find a way to get even, do damage, get even. All this stuff is clearly hurtful. Like, how do you do that? Why do you do it? Why do you keep like being such a nice guy? Because honestly, like whether people know it or not, you've had a lot of people like either steal from you, take pot shots, you know what I mean? Like straight up start crap basically about you.
So, yes, I've had all of it. I've
Yep.
had every outside of I haven't had wife betrayal. Like that's like the one type of betrayal I haven't had. But I've had every other kind, friend, family. Um, yeah, I've had it all except for spouse, thank goodness. Um, I have lashed out at other people before. And this is actually something that I was thinking about more recently, which is, the whole drunk dad, takes it out on the kid. Then
Sure.
the kid goes to school, takes it out on all the other kids.
Hmm.
And I realized that the last, about 5 years ago, when I started getting a lot of crap from people inside my company, and of course the whole internet, which I was pretty used to that. The
Hmm.
internet crap is like, you got to learn how to take it, but it's not as bad as when it's internal
Those aren't the
or
people
family.
at arm's reach of you. That's way
Exactly.
different.
And I actually think that some of my lashings out at other people back in like 2020, 2021 may have been a byproduct of me getting crapped on by people close to me. And instead of me crapping back at them, I would crap on like other people because I didn't feel comfortable going to these people. So I would do different people or easy targets like calling on Noir, who was a shill for the NRA. I crapped on him. To be honest, would I say the same thing today that I said then? I would tweak it. I probably wouldn't say exactly how I said it. I don't think what I said was like, I don't believe it was wrong. Like, theoretically, what I said was correct, but how I did it wasn't very good. So I've actually, to your comment about I've taken all this crap, why haven't I
Yeah.
lashed out or done smear campaigns? Because oh man, I have so much dirt on people. That
No,
would
you
that
do.
would be
I'm
a
aware.
that'd be a 2 hour video, 3 hour
Yeah.
video if I just went, here's all the dirt for the last 10 years I know about people. Check this out.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure Ben would love that video, just
The whole internet
dissecting it.
would.
Yeah, um, but that's not me. Like I'm never gonna do that. The only time I will do something close to that is if it is legally required, or if it is if my values are being contradicted by a worthy adversary. Because that's another thing people don't understand. If some chump takes a pot shot at me, I'm not going to dignify their pot shot by doing a reactionary response.
Hmm.
I will only do that for a worthy adversary that's actually doing damage. Because a bunch of like little voices saying stuff, like people are going to make stuff up. It's been happening for years.
Like speeding
It's
up
got
your
to be
videos or something like
like
that.
speeding up my videos,
And it's a
or
random
oh,
account.
Indeed at a match got DQ'd through a temper and left, and or I shot Noro in the foot. Like I've heard all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The latest story that I've heard, this the most interesting, is that my lead levels got so high that the decisions I made the last 6 weeks were delusional because of lead poisoning, which is insane since my lead levels are down to a 6 as of like 4 months ago.
You don't shoot nearly what you used to. You used to shoot crazy amounts of ammo, and that's
Oh
way
yeah,
down.
but even then, I only got to a 19, which is high. But there's people who work indoor ranges in the 20s and 30s. I only got to like a 19 or a 20, and then I brought it down with a detox that was brutal. Gave me vivid dreams, like crazy dreams, and then not shooting suppressed as much, and
Mhm.
shooting outdoors. So that, yeah, lots of stories, but it's got to be someone who's a worthy adversary, where actual damage is being done that merits a response. And the analogy I like to use, and this might sound a little, it might sound a little arrogant, but I think it's a worthy picture for an example. The example I want to take is, okay, this is the best example, but I'm going to send it anyway. It's like Iran, who's maybe being whiny, and then you have the U.S. who's ready at any moment to fly a bunch of angry Doritos over to your country and drop some nukes. And that's kind of how I want to be. If lots of people want to whine about things that I do or say, but it's not very meaningful, I'm not going to do a thing. As soon as someone challenges, at a high level, or they're a
Sure.
worthy adversary, I'm going to level the town. I'm going to level cities. For me or my wife or my new company, my new employees, I'm going to go scorched earth. But it's going to take a lot to get me to go there, uh, just because of my moral compass and when I think I should not do that or do that, and because I am at a high level as far as like what I do, that person's going to need to be like pretty similar. It's going to have to be a level playing field. And there's not a lot of those people, at least that I'm dealing with on a day to day basis.
Sure.
And that may sound a little arrogant, but no, I'm very confident at what I'm good at and what I've done the last 12 years. There are not very many people like me.
I agree.
Um, and I'm going to need to go toe to toe with someone very similar in order to merit that kind of response.
Now that's fair.
So,
That makes sense. Huh,
yeah,
interesting.
so it might sound a little cocky, but you know what? Confidence is often misconstrued as cockiness.
No, that's sure. Like I'll get haters on the internet too. It's like a random, a no name, like a message that goes to spam, and it'd be like, "Oh, you're not good at shooting" or whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So this makes
exactly.
sense. I understand what you're saying. I think that would make sense for people watching this. Um, if Well, what's the current situation if you could share with T-Rex? I'm hearing, and just what I've seen on the internet, looks like sales are way down for them. I can't imagine any bank would loan the owners the money, seeing with how the company is clearly declining. It looks like in sales and just online persona. I think the only option would be the owners would need to try to find somebody outside that wants to buy in to get money, to fund, to pay you out or all that stuff. Can you comment if you think you'll even get paid
If
out
I
or
can.
how this will all play?
Um, I'm going to be very careful with what I say. What I will say, because I know quite a bit of obviously what's going on.
I'm sure you
Um, there are 100 different things they can do, just like there are 100 different things that I can do, whether it's litigation on my end or business decisions with my new businesses, investors, whatnot. They have a lot of options that they could be pursuing right now, that they might be pursuing. At the right price, anybody will buy in. I mean, for pennies on the dollar, even. So, like, it may sound like to a lot of people, they look at the PR situation and they're like, there's no way a bank will get involved. There's no way an investor will get involved. And the answer is no. Everyone will at some point. They are just going to measure the risk to the reward, the amount of money, all that good stuff. Personally, I think there's two options that are really good for them, and that's aside from me, like them, their obligation to me as a shareholder, like we have to finish that out, or they need to finish that out. And if they don't, well, then there's going to be some more stuff that goes public, probably through litigation and whatnot, and then that's obviously public. But afterwards, after all said and done, they have a couple options. One would be a total rebrand, which I think could prolong the lifespan of the company and the product with a very strategic rebrand, which would be very difficult and require. There's a lot of complexity, such as what do you do with the main channel? What do you do with all the content that I'm in? Do you archive it as a legacy channel and keep making 200K a year off of it? Because that's about what that channel makes. Do you create new channels? Like, there's lots of options. The other option is to sell to a industry company, like PSA or someone who wants a holster division,
Sure.
who can then roll the retail into their existing retail, have the holsters now to accompany their product line into their portfolio. And companies like PSA are buying tons of companies anyway, and that would allow the owners to exit, leave the limelight of the negativity that they currently have, pay their debts to me, pay whatever other debts they potentially have now, and get out. And it means not having a company anymore, but it would mean at least getting clear of the current fiery but peaceful situation that they
Sure.
are in. So I had a phone call with someone. I won't give too much detail, but basically he was asking, hey, what should they do? And I had to just be like, I can't really say. That's for them to figure out. But if I were a board member who's unattached in any way, I would be recommending these kinds of things. And who knows? Maybe that's the direction they'll go. Maybe not. Maybe the company recovers quickly after all of this because some new controversy pops off. Personally, I'm not too sure about that. I think it's going to take a pretty big controversy to distract everyone. Just because this story is so interesting, it has to do with family, a founder, a younger brother,
It checks a lot
some
of boxes.
sexual harassment. It's got all kinds of stuff. And the company wasn't just a firearms company making a product to sell to stores. It was a values based business that 90% of its sales, if not more, were based solely on the values the company espoused and published and put out there for the whole world to see. And that's why it's such a hot topic right now, because it's not just a company selling widgets to gun stores. It is a much more significant company, or was, maybe still is. That's for them to figure out. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do in the next 6 months. I think it'll be real interesting in like 4 months, Black Friday time period. What new products they come out with, how deep their discounts are, how they change the content. Like, I know that the media team that they have are interested in doing some different stuff, and they probably will start doing different stuff, maybe even strategically to make it look different than me, which I think might be a smart move. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about that one a whole lot. And so people will see the content change and look different if they keep doing content. And it'll be interesting to see how people react to that. So I probably won't watch it, to be perfectly honest. I also didn't even watch their response video for my own mental well-being. I had other people watch it, including my law firm. I haven't watched it. My wife hasn't watched it. We just both went, you know what? We're not watching this. We're gonna have other people watch it for us, tell us what's going on. I also read the comment section, and from the comment section, kind of knew all I needed to know. So we probably won't. I probably won't consume a whole lot of T Rex content moving forward, just for my own mental space and to maintain um, very tight focus on our new businesses, looking forward, not looking back. So you guys will have to fill me in on what they're doing. So, and you can text me and tell me stuff. So, because you text me those 2 texts a year, you can
Yes.
include what they're doing.
Maybe I'll even bump it to 3 just in case a big video
It's
comes out
just
or something viral.
that's great.
Or like 3 an hour, but yeah. Um,
Mhm.
if they did try to, I've seen some speculation. I looked through the comments too. There was a lot of comments like, hey, just give the company back to Lucas or surrender it, something like that. If they did try to surrender the company to you as a way to figuring out the money issue or payoff or whatever, would you take it? I realize that would be a lot of work, a major house cleaning probably of a lot of, you know, people that would need to go or that you need to have everybody rowing in the same direction. So anyway, is that even anything you'd entertain?
This is where I should say I can either confirm or deny, but what I will say is there would be a long list of stipulations and contingencies. And if those were all followed to the letter, it is an option. I mean, anything's a possibility, right? Like if it just fell in my lap for free, I mean, I wouldn't say
Sure.
no, but there would be a long list of, hey, I need all these things written out and explained to me of what happened since I left, and I need to know these things, and potentially even request some apologies, public apologies, some other things. And I don't think that list of stipulations would be followed, so I don't think that would ever be an option, just personally. But it would require a number of things be done by their side before a transition could even happen, which would be extremely complex. Like a lot of people don't realize this, but for 4 months, I was building a plan to buy the company. I had secured funding, and it was millions and millions and millions of dollars. It was quite a lot of money. And I had to build my plan of who's the new team, who's the transition team, how long is that time period. I had the first three, or it was 4 months of taking over, just being a transition period where I don't expect major growth, major initiatives, major projects. It was just changing the core values, nuking many of the leadership, not all of them. It was just top and middle management, some people, getting new people who, again, can row in the same direction and have a high level of competence and trust. And then we get to Black Friday. We finished Black Friday out. And then the new year, 2026, is actually the first year we can begin as a new company. And that was my whole plan. And I had org charts. I mean, I spent a lot of time developing that. And now, I mean, it basically got trashed, but because that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, I had a whole plan for that. And that was going to be complex enough on its own, just coming in and on day one firing 6 people. And 6 executive leadership level people, and then starting fresh. So taking over the company after it's been managed the way it's been the last 7 weeks, and let's assume another few months, if it did go back to me, would be a colossal undertaking, and it just may not be feasible. So, but anything's possible. I will say that. I will not give absolutes. That's what Sith do.
Yes.
But it would be meticulously negotiated and executed for that to work.
Oh, that makes sense. I appreciate you giving such a detailed answer. I didn't know if you would or not, but that's something I saw quite a bit in the comments on the internet.
Yep.
What what will you miss the most from T-Rex?
So I will miss, and I said it in my video, and some people tried to spin it. I am going to miss the people, or at least some of the people. I really enjoyed the jibber jabbering we would have around the watering hole, and working with large teams on projects. Like on launch day, we would have a room of about 18 people to launch a product. And that was a lot of fun. We'd have all of e-commerce, marketing, usually the product team, someone from shipping, executives. Like it was a lot of people to launch a significant product, and those were my favorite days. Launch days were my favorite because we could immediately publish a product we'd been working on for like 8 months, if not longer. Watch in real time our web traffic hit 10,000 plus. Immediately see comments from people saying that's cool, that's awesome, or oh that's gay, that sucks. I'll take both. I'll take both kinds of comments, and we can watch it in real time and be like, wow, this is fun. It's all of our hard work that's now out there for people to see, and we're not going to do that anymore. I'm not part of that anymore. Our new company, we're going to do something very different where we actually showcase our prototypes ahead of time with product pages. So people will know every product we're working on. Well, I should say 80% of what we're working on, people will know about ahead of time.
Oh,
Some stuff will be under wraps if it's like super secret squirrel weird or patent related crap.
then you can't.
Um, yeah, where it's just like we're gonna keep this under wraps until it's ready or
Sure.
until some patent thing, or some negotiation for licensing. But yeah, all of our products that we're working on, nylon, the rifle rail, the target system, like they will all get a page that's like, yo, this is a prototype. Here are pictures of it. Here's the purpose. Here's the target price point. If you're interested, sign up on the wait list. If you have suggestions, email us. And what we can do with that is when, for example, I have some sniper products, we have I know I'm getting off on a rabbit trail,
No, no, no,
but
you're good. This people love leaks.
if I have a sniper fanny pack thing that holds, in the front so you can shoot prone, and I post that as a prototype, then I can actually get emails from snipers from whether it's like Fifth Group or the 82nd Airborne or the Marine Corps, if they still have a sniper program, and they could say, hey, we see you're working on a fanny pack that does XYZ. We would like it if you can integrate this thing. And can we be in for like 50 units when it's ready? So ahead of time, we can actually sort of add in people's requests to a product to make a superior product than just us working on it all like behind the scenes, launching it, and then those people submitting feedback, which often we would get at T-Rex. We get like a message from someone from the Arctic Warfare Center who's like, hey, the Ready Rig's really cool because we can have our radios under our parka, but can you have done XYZ to make it work for our different radios? And if they had just emailed us beforehand while we were developing the product, we probably could have made that happen. So the new company will be much more forward facing, and it means people will rip us off. People will steal the IP, whatever, and I don't care because we're going to do it better than everyone. At least that's the hope. And if they steal our IP to make a product for their company to go to the community and the idea was good, well, then, I have the satisfaction of the idea being a good idea and the community gets a better product. So it's a win-win. So that's why I really don't mind putting it all out there. And if people pull pieces from it, awesome. It's good for everyone. And it just proves that the idea was good to begin with. Like the sidecar, a lot of holster companies complained about that design for a year after I launched it, and then they all made their own. And
100%.
and I was like, that's great. That makes me feel good. Because they complained about me for years, and now they make the same product. So it was fun.
Plagiarism is the most sincere form of flattery.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. So anyway, long-winded question to.
I like it.
Oh, what am I going to miss? What am I going to miss? Yeah, product launches and the people. I'm not going to miss. I'll tell you though, there are dozens of things I don't miss,
Tell
and
me.
it's been great. It's been well. I can't say tell all of them.
I'm teasing
There,
you.
I'll explain. I'll explain. For the last 2 years, especially, my brain has been neatly carved in half, where half of my brain goes to my job, which is like shooting, product development, videos for YouTube, Instagram, marketing the brand. The other half was chopped in half for like executive management and board member owner stuff of just worrying and dealing with ridiculous crap. Like I'll give an example. I will give one example for you all to understand the environment I was working in. There was an executive, or still is an executive, who started using AI for everything. And I mean, basically everything.
Perfect.
I'm not being hyperbolic. We would run AI checkers, me and my other executive, and then another friend who was in leadership. We would run his stuff through AI checkers periodically, or often, I should say, every week, and it would come back between 90 to 99% accurate for full AI usage. Now, I talked to this executive and was like, hey, you do realize that you using AI is not necessarily bad. However, it is telegraphing to the staff that you're being lazy. Like that's what they think. And you're an executive. Like you can't have people thinking that about you, even if you think you're using AI in a really efficient way to make your work like way better. You can't do that when you have the staff behind your back saying you're the laziest person in the company. Like that does not help your image. You didn't
Sure.
understand that.
Yeah.
So then when we get to the CEO review at the end of the year, I literally went off site to work on mine. It was like a 3 or 4 pager. It was three. No, I think it was about four of like very detailed things. Like these are things I like that he did. Here's a lot of things I didn't like. Here's certain things that I thought it was our fault because we didn't give him enough like feedback. So we can't really blame him for that. And I started getting, while I was there at my townhouse, which was my remote office, I would print them out and lay them out on the floor. And I took a photo. I'll probably publish it someday of like all these 3 or 4 page reports from all these people. It's like 9 different people. And then I get one of the last ones is from this particular executive, and it's 1 page, and it reads like AI, and it's just a bunch of glazing.
No.
And the worst part was the week before I had a meeting with him, or 2 weeks before, and he gave me lots of negatives for why he thought the CEO, like specific things that we agreed on, like, yeah, this could be better. This thing we're not real sure about. And then the report that goes to the board is full glazing and like corporate glazing. So once again, I put in an AI checker and it comes back 98%, 97%. So then I email him as a board member, and he's a board member as well. He's executive board member. And I said, was this written with AI? And he wrote back, yes and no, smiley face. And I was like, oh. So that's one example of just stuff that I then would go home, would be thinking about, or I'd be dealing with it at work or talking to other members of the staff about. And that was occupying half of my brain for the last 2 years, if not three. I'm going to say two because two is a little more accurate. And it now I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to worry about bad hiring decisions, or poor firing decisions, or I don't have to worry about anything. All I have to worry about is our staff of 5 people. What are we doing next? What are the most important projects? Who do we need to talk to? Who do I need to call? Do I need to do this podcast with you? Do I need to try to sleep because I only slept for like 4 hours last night? That's all I have to think about. It's great. I don't have to think about all the drama of working inside a company with mishmashed people. So,
That's no, that makes sense.
yeah.
Dude, if I could ask, what's the biggest lesson you've learned along the way? I realize it's
A
a
lot of
general
people,
question. It's probably tough to
yeah,
pick.
yeah, yeah. No, so a lot of people, if a lot of people, if they were in my shoes, they would say I trusted people too easily. Is
Yeah,
probably what people would say.
I agree.
Um, that probably is the lesson for me, but I've thought a lot about this. I don't want what's happened to me to force me into being super cynical and not trusting people, because I think that's a dumb way to live. I'm definitely a lot more cynical than I used to be. And I think there's a healthy amount of that. I should have had a little bit more early on. Um, but I don't want this to turn me into a grouch, because that's not a great way to live. And
Mhm.
I would rather be nice to 100 people every year and get stabbed by 10 than not be nice to any people and not get stabbed. Because you'll only get stabbed by like a percentage, right? 20%,
Sure.
whatever it is, 30%. In my case, it might be a little higher because I have people think they can get something from me, whether it's like posts, followers, or whatever.
Mhm.
But like, even if it were 30%, or even if it were 50%, you're going to get stabbed in the back by 50% of the people you talk to or do things for this year. I would still do it because that means there's 50 people I've done good things for, even getting all the daggers in my back from people doing just dumb crap. So um, I don't know. I don't know what the biggest thing is that I've learned this year. I mean, I've obviously learned how to hone my trusting and have more discernment. That's a big one. Um, but I don't think there's like one thing that stands out that, from the last 12 years. I've kind of had things I've learned every year that are a little different. Um, I don't just trust people blindly as much, but I still expect the best from people. Like I still
No, you
always
do.
will. And
I
and I will be disappointed. People will disappoint me probably every week. But that's okay. And that's fine. So I'll have a better answer probably later on when I've had more time to think about the one thing I've learned in 12 years, which that's kind of hard to narrow down. I mean, it was just 2.5 years ago. The biggest thing I learned was I stared at my red dot too much, and that was kind of ridiculous.
this is true.
So I
I
didn't want to believe you at first.
I,
So
I remember that because I said, "Do you think there's a chance that you stare at your red dot really hard when you're transitioning it between
and I was
targets?"
like, no, I was like, absolutely not. I'm
And you
staring at
looked
the
at
target. I
you
know
looked
I
at me
am.
and you got this little cheesy, like you had this Lucas smile that's really cheesy, and you go, "No,"
Maybe.
and it was like you were like saying yes. I'm like, "All right, cool, you get it." Like, "Yep."
Yeah, you do. Well, then you had to explain it more to me because I was like, no, the fundamental use case for a red dot is to stare at the target. Like everyone knows that, right? And you had to
Of
explain
course.
to me, yes, but your mental focus is on this blob. And then I was like, oh, and then, yeah. So, and I
Okay.
still do it. I still stare at it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's beautiful and red. It
But now
looks
you have
really
awareness.
pretty.
You have awareness that you do it. That's the important part.
Yeah, but you know what? I may just be like, you know what? I'm in Lucas villain arc. I'm going to stare at that red orb because it's a beautiful orb that's just hanging out right there.
There you go. No, you could do that.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, front sight focus. The next thing you know, you'll be saying like press the trigger gently and let it surprise you. That'll be next in your
Or or
section.
or do the wave to find it.
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Maybe go up to here and then press out. You'll find the
Yes.
dot sooner. That's
Yes.
great.
No, 100%. Well, I've beat you up enough or interrogated you about the past. What's going on for
No,
the
no,
future?
no.
Like, what about content? It looks like you're doing more like kind of showing people as it happens or explaining the whys. Is that fair?
Yes. So first off, content sucks. No, making content kind of sucks. I actually don't enjoy doing that very much anymore.
Really?
I've done the YouTube thing. I've gotten a million subs. I've, I've done all the YouTubery things that many YouTubers wish want to do.
Yeah, you've done it.
And what I can say is, it is not as cool as people think. There's a reason most YouTubers bail after 10 years because that's 10 years. I mean, it's a long time.
Mhm.
Just last year, the year before, there was a huge influx of YouTubers who retired. I mean, PewDiePie's basically retired. I mean, he does videos pretty rarely, and he's just in Japan living his best life. But it was about the 10-year mark that a lot of people started bailing, and it's because YouTube had gotten old enough. YouTube was like it's like 15 years old, something like when it really started to blow up. 14 years old. So a lot of people got out, and I've been doing YouTube now for about 9.5 years. So it's actually kind of funny, but yeah, so the plan right now is to do some business content because I have a lot of things I want to get out there, and some of that content is why I'm here in Detroit for this event. So keep doing that. I think it's useful. It's also content that is kind of timeless, where you can watch it 2 years from now. I don't really ever want to do the whole like timely content where it's like, oh, this trend is happening. Quickly do a video on this gun that got used in a shooting, or this,
Sure.
like, what, like, no, I don't want to. We never did that at T-Rex. I think I only did it like twice. And I didn't really like it. I prefer content that can last, 10
Timeless.
years. Yeah, it's kind of timeless before it kind of like falls off. Um, so that's kind of my focus, and that's going to be the focus for the new defense channel. So I've got my Lucas Botkin channel that now has like 220 something thousand followers, which is very cool. Um, Very nice people, I might add. And I'm going to grow that slowly. It'll probably take a while before I hit 1 million with that channel, just because the content I'm doing is going to not be that like wild and like crazy. But when the new defense company gets started, that will get a YouTube channel. And on that channel, like I just said, that will get very like timeless content that is not based around events and things. Like it'll be things like, what happens when you take two competitive shooters and put them in a shoot house? How fast can they learn CQB?
Sure.
Or some sort of snipery stuff, or whatever it happens to be. And so it'll be a lot of education. The other thing I'm hoping to do on that channel is to do a lot of behind the scenes of the product development. So when we're developing, say, a backpack for carrying, again, there's a lot of sniper stuff, but that's because that's what I'm doing right now. Like a backpack that's small and minimalist for carrying tripods and a spotter, because you carry your rifle slung. And
Okay.
then we show it being tested, used on the Stairmaster in our temperature controlled box so that we could simulate 100 degrees, and a mask to simulate 9,000 feet of elevation. And I jump in there for an hour and then look for the wear point, the hot spots on the
Mhm.
pack with like where I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Um, that's the kind of stuff we'll probably do content on. It won't get a lot of views. It'll be interesting. People will be able to follow along with the development process of the product, which will in turn make people trust the product we sell even more. So they
Sure.
see it's not just us, trying to just have the best profit margin ever by making a widget and selling it without any testing. It's like, no, we're going to put, I have one project I want to invest about 100 grand into. And it may not even happen. Like it's a thing that I want to explore, and I don't even know if it's going to work. And if it does, that'll be great, because high risk, high reward. But the amount of time and testing we're going to put into it is going to cost around 100 grand, if not more. And at the end, if we discover, if my hypothesis is correct, then that will be a very successful product, in my opinion. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But it also may fail and not pan out, and it may not pan out at $30,000 or $50,000, and then we just cut the project right then. That's the stuff I want to do. That's the stuff I've actually always wanted to do, and we couldn't really do it at T-Rex because money was really tight. People didn't all understand the product development stuff that I was doing or value it, in my opinion, and so I didn't have the budget to do some of that. And with the new company, there's some serious money that we can throw at projects. If I had to, I've got around 2 dozen investors who've written in, who've all said, hey, we want into whatever it is you're doing. So if for some reason a project came up, like buying a range or doing some crazy prototype thing, I could go out and probably get some money for that pretty quickly. So I'm kind of in a new business phase, which is interesting, where I don't want to say I'm not limited by money, but I could potentially not be limited by money. And the limitation is going to be analysis on the market and how much time me and the team could put into executing that project. That's actually going to be the main limitation at this point, which is cool. It's just different. I may not have the monetary limitation like I used to. So
Dude,
it's
that's
fun.
exciting.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about any projects you're working on, like specifically items or what they'd be used for, whether it's like a chest rig or a sling or a barrel or a handguard or anything like that?
I'll give some specifics. So I'm working on 2 slings. Now, slings are slings. There's not that many ways to make them different. They all look the same. I went out
Sure.
and bought like 8 different slings, like the second week that I was out of a job, to look at them, and well, they're all the same. I also already knew that, but I just wanted to get them in person.
Sure.
But there's something that we're experimenting with right now, and it's going to be a theme across a lot of our products, and that is stretch and mobility. The problem with a lot of products, in my opinion, as of right now, a lot of products are really static, and they don't bend, they don't move, they don't stretch. And the human body does all of those things. The human body is not a stat. We're not robots. We're not Terminators. At least, not
Not
everyone
yet.
is Terminator. Yeah.
Wait.
So yeah, so the human body moves, shoulders fluctuate, traps, all that good stuff. But slings are like really stiff. Plate carriers are really stiff. Belt setups are really stiff. Although actually, that's one that probably should stay stiff for reasons. So the sling that design we're experimenting with has 2 inches of stretch, 2 to 3
Oh,
inches. And the idea is that will allow you to tighten the sling tighter to the body if you have to climb or do stuff. And then when you loosen it, you will have a little bit extra give if you set the tension a little bit shorter than normal, so you can have enough space to work. and do your high ready, stuff,
In workspace,
like
yeah,
a,
but
like
I
a,
hear what
like
you're saying.
get into your workspace.
Well, not once in a while
So
you'll be going to like load the rifle. Let's say you're doing like a
yeah,
mag change rather, not load, but mag change. And it's like if I don't have quite the right tension, I want to bring up the rifle. I'm just a little bit short, like dang it. And it's like 1 inch more of sling you need to get it to where it's comfortable to insert the mags. You're talking about stuff like that, right?
yep, yep. So, and a lot of people, when they hear that, they're going to be like, oh, I can like load into it for precision shooting. And the answer is, well, yeah, technically you could, but like that's not really the intended purpose. So we're playing with stuff like that. Like, hey, if we add 3 inches of stretch, is that a huge performance gain? And so I was using a prototype with one of my sniper rifles, which is 18 pounds. And this sling pad looks like a rattlesnake when it's relaxed, which people aren't going to like because it's all like squiggly. So now we're trying to fix that because it's like nobody's going to like that, even though it works. And it does stretch 3 inches, and that was really cool. We now have to play with the aesthetics and make it work. So, yes, there's a carbine sling, there's a sniper sling. We have a rifle rail that we're working on. And I think Brantley, I don't know, how much did he say?
I should be careful about how much I should say. That was mentioned to
Wait,
me
did you
first.
use, have you published that yet?
No, I
I
should
thought
probably.
you recorded with him.
I did. It's in queue. I think it drops.
Yeah, but you talked about it on the podcast.
I don't know. I don't think we talked about prototype. I don't remember.
Okay, well, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. So we have a rifle rail. It's not M-lock. It's not M-lock for the reason that I want bigger holes for cooling because I don't like how fast skinny M-lock rails heat up when you train with them. And if you're serious about training, you're shooting more than like two mags. So Brantley and I are developing a rail, and I say developing, it's a rail. Like there's not a lot you can do. Again, it's like a sling. It's like it's a tube of metal with like holes and stuff.
Mhm.
Anyone who thinks they're more than that, I think you're kind of yeah. Anyway, so it's a rail. It's a tube that goes onto a gun, and but the idea is we expand the girth of the rail away from the barrel and the barrel nut, so that we promote cooling a little bit better, and we have larger gaps. Instead of M-lock, there will be an attachment system because M-lock is pretty small, and that will allow cooling to happen faster. So we will create prototypes. We'll take them to the range. We'll full auto them with. We'll compare them to like a BCM MCMR, which is kind of the main culprit of getting hot really fast and being really skinny. And then we'll compare it to ours and see we'll actually have percentages and numbers in a controlled environment of yes, we have 20% better cooling properties with this rail. And that's kind of the goal so that people could shoot four mags without needing a glove. And it looks really cool. Looks is all that matters. And so we're working on that. So that's a project that actually might be done by the end of this year. Brantley is a lot of people don't know it, but Brantley is a highly competent shooter, but he's actually just as competent in like CADing and product development.
Talk about that.
And I mean, he's good at like everything he does, but I didn't even understand that until the last like 6 months of like, oh, Brantley's actually like really good at the job stuff too. As far as his product development stuff goes, I think it was eight months in the last 8 months. So literally his first week working with me, he had the rail already mocked up, and I was like, okay, sick. Like this is cool. So I think we get 3D print prototypes back this week. So that is it's fun.
But
Yeah, a lot of nylon.
Brantley talked
Yeah.
to me about an electronics product, an accessory that you use while training, and about what I would want it to be and what features I had, and compare and
Oh
contrast
yeah.
some current stuff in the market. And I had a bunch of complaints and stuff I thought was important, and he thought along the same way. So that's I don't know if you could talk about that or not, but we could just leave it as that for a teaser. But that would be very cool, I think.
Yeah. There's a company that we're wanting to help. So that's the other thing about this new company. We are going to do two things. We're going to develop our own product that we think is important. We also want to go to companies who have a product and request a new version that is new and improved, and we will, offer our suggestions, whether they, if they're open to them
Hmm?
for this new product, and then we will commit probably money or units for to make that development happen so that a new product can come to market. Because a lot of people don't realize it, but a lot of these gun companies are running on horrible margins. So for them to go redevelop a product and make like, shot timer 2.0 or whatever, most companies can't do it.
Sure.
But if someone like us comes in and goes, hey, we have a marketing avenue to get this out to people. We also possess some knowledge to improve the product based on market analysis and our personal experience, and we can commit money, 100K, whatever it is, or 500 units. Then we start to actually be a player when it comes to going to companies and getting new products made for the community. And we don't have to sell them. We probably will. So there's another electronics product that I'm working on with the company, and they just wrote to me this morning about something, which was fun. And then Brantley has this other electronics product. We're not going to manufacture either of these,
That's what it
but
sounded
the
like.
hope is to, yeah, but the hope is to go to these companies, work with them, get some sort of maybe exclusivity for selling the product for 6 months, and then people know like, oh yeah, that new company is the one who's responsible for bringing these new products to market,
Well,
and then anyone can sell them. So
it'd be the kind of the
that's
update to
the
the
idea.
product that everyone wish it had, or
Exactly.
the
But
2.0
yeah,
that everybody's like, oh, I wish they had this 5 years ago.
yeah. And the reality is most gun companies can't, they just either don't possess, I mean, frankly, a lot of the time, the people in the company don't possess, it's sad, but they don't possess the knowledge of what the customer thinks or is saying about the product. The engineer teams are completely removed from customer service. They're just told what to make. And that's where I think our company is going to come in, where we can say, hey, the market is saying this. And not only is the market saying this, we can help make this. And here's technical drawings we've already drawn up. Like here's a spec sheet we've already produced. Here are my requirements for this product. Here's what we can commit to. Can we make this happen? And I've had a few companies already reach out and ask for that because we do have a pretty good knowledge of the industry, good knowledge of the pulse. We run around and do stuff, and a lot of these companies don't have people doing that.
Sure.
They're basically designing product in a, I don't want to say in a vacuum, maybe in a vacuum is the right word. Um, and I think we're going to be able to move a little more freely, at least for a time. Now, we could grow really fast and then have 10 engineers working for other people, and that could be, we could run into our own problems. But so yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but I want to work with other companies on improving their products because that's fun.
Dude, that is cool. I know you said you're going to shoot more matches. Is there, well, I guess if you want to talk about that or not, but is there a business reason for doing that, or is it just to have fun? I know you like shooting, and so, I mean, I know that's part of it, but
Um, so yeah, so there's two reasons. One, I have two core values for the new company. Well, actually, so Botkin Enterprises is the parent company. Many things will happen under, but the two core values for the parent company that extend throughout are do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is I mean, it's a very biblical Christian principle, although it probably extends to a lot of religions.
sure,
But
be nice to
it's a
people.
biblical Christian principle. But exactly, yeah. And then the second one is walk the walk before talking the talk. And it's my opinion that if you combine both of these core values, you they will get you they will prevent you from getting in trouble. They will keep you guarded as far as what claims you make. They will guard you from being lame to people, like poor customer service or poor hiring standards, whatever it is. As long as you are operating off of both of those core values at the same time, you can stay out of trouble. It's kind of like the four firearm safety rules, kind of, but I've like
Sure.
really distilled it down to just two things. So the shooting matches are kind of for that walking the walk a little bit. I haven't shot as many matches the last few months or last few years. So I want to go out and do some. Now, the reality is I will never be a competitive shooter who like shoots all the time.
Yeah, you can.
I'm a businessman first. And
Mhm.
as far as that goes, like I had that conversation with Hunter Constantine actually at Nationals about like, hey, what are your goals? Like, how are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm not doing so well at this match. And I was like, okay, but what's your priority? Being a shooter or being a businessman? He said, being a businessman. And I went, okay, cool. Then you can't be upset about how you do. Like, if you're, 70% of the winner, that may just be what you can do. And you shouldn't be upset about it. Like, yeah, can you get to 75%? Can you get to 80%? Probably, but if your goal is a businessman, you are not going to be super squad. It's not going to happen. Um, so I'm not going to be that guy. But that's why, Brantley's around, and that's why there's some other guys I'd like to work with. They're the guys who will go out and get all that experience, and then we can use it for product development. But I also want to see people, meet people, hang out, say hi, and do some new stuff, do fun stuff. So I've got Tennessee State at the end of this month, which I don't know when this video goes out. It
It'll
may
go out in the
be,
next
I may
couple of
have.
days.
Okay, cool. So Tennessee State, that's a pretty. I'm going to treat that like a club match plus. I'm not going to go into it. At least I think I'm not going to go into it too stressed out. It's just like, hey, I'm just going to show up, shoot, try not to get DQ'd. I'm just going to try to be somewhat consistent. Then I have Area 2 on the YouTube Super Squad, YouTube the Super YouTube Squad. I think maybe that's what we're going to call it. I got to practice for that because I need to be the best YouTuber. I need to at least be the best YouTuber. Now that's going to be hard with Hunter there because he is
Hunter is
technically a
very good.
YouTuber. And well, and Bradley is too, but he's not like a big YouTuber, so I'm not going to count him. He doesn't count.
Right.
But Micah, Charlie, Hunter, me. I think there's another guy. He's got a decent following. Um, I gotta throw down with the YouTube squad. But Christian Sailor, yeah, apparently I'm not beating those guys. So but they're the same squad. So I'm gonna shoot that, and then I'm trying to get into PCSL Nats in December, but I'm having a tough time getting a slot, and that's okay.
I know a
I
guy that can
honestly,
probably make that happen.
yeah, well, I probably already texted him, and he hasn't gotten back to me, so I don't know.
Maybe he'll
We'll
reply
see.
to me. He'll be like, "Hey, that
Maybe he will. I texted two or three people already. Um, to be honest, I'm probably biting off more than I can chew because the new company will launch in I think October, and then we'll have stuff, and then the other companies in February. So I may not even be able to make PCSL. We'll see. Um, and then I want to shoot another sniper match this year. I think in the fall, but I'm still trying to find one of those to take Brantley to. So we'll be a team.
oh, very
That'll
cool."
be fun. And so yeah, the goal is shoot like 4 matches a year, more than my original two. Um, it's good advertising. It keeps me in the know. I get to see people. That's fun, and I get to throw down and show that I'm not going to just be one of these YouTubers that hides on his own range. Well, I don't even have a range anymore. I got to go out there and actually throw down. So, and I've always done that. That's the funny thing. People don't realize that, but I've been shooting matches for a very long time.
Yeah,
But usually just one or two a year, and that's not a whole lot. So we'll go out. Hopefully, I don't get DQ'd. Because that'd be fun. And yeah, it'll be good.
dude, that's awesome. Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Well, I appreciate you letting me interrogate you for so long. The last question I
No,
have,
not at all.
even an easy one. If people want to support you, what's the best way to do that? Because there's a lot of people that want to be involved in what you're doing
Yeah.
or get updates or that kind of stuff.
Um, yeah, so we joked around a few weeks ago about coming out with like a meme shirt, couple, big 51%, some other stuff. And that would be fun. And a lot of people would buy them.
Yes.
But I don't like capitalizing on um like trends, I guess. I just don't feel it's not that it's dirty money, but I also know it's like a bad use of money, like in some ways. So I would rather people save their money. And when we launch legitimate product that is useful, like slings, sniper low vis chest rig thing, then people buy that. Then buying like meme shirts that I roll out, from now until then. Like we could do that and probably make a lot of money, but I just feel kind of dirty doing that, like a little bit. Um, Even though it can be fun, it can be interesting, it shows support, and people like that kind of thing. I just personally have a hard time with that. So the goal is company launches in October. At launch, there will be some shirts, there will be some hats, there will be some swag. So if and a lot of product won't be available yet, like our actual product. But the pages for all those products will be live, showing the prototypes and the purpose and the target price point and all that. So people will immediately at launch see like, oh, they've got all these different products they're working on. I can sign up for wait lists for individuals, or I could just be on the newsletter to get notified when these start coming out. And I could start submitting suggestions to the products that are being worked on. But if people want to support us right then, they can buy product. The slings should be available then. The shirts and hats will be available then. And then shortly after, we'll start dropping the actual product. The rifle rails, the other nylon, the target thing. And so people can buy those if it makes sense for them. And until then, the biggest support is just following the business. So my YouTube or my Instagram or my Twitter or getting on the newsletter sign up list at botkinenterprises.com. You could sign up for either the defense company that's coming soon or the apparel company that's coming soon. The defense company has like 10% more signups, but most people want both. Like they seem to want to be involved.
Sure.
And then I think people will remember that I still exist by October, so that's good. So I don't need to capitalize on this flurry of excitement. And it has been cool, and it's meant a lot to me. I mean, we had over 1,000 emails within I mean, it's just a few days of my video going out, and then it's been a lot. So and like 20 something thousand comments on that video, if not more. So it's been cool, but I'm not here to capitalize on that. And make money, even though I'm not against making money. I just like to make money off of more significant ways. So I hope that makes sense. I think it does.
That's a very Lucas thing of you to say, and yes, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, good.
No, well, cool. Well, thank you again for so much for taking the time and letting me
Yeah.
chat with you a bit. I have no doubt there'll be a lot of comments for you or to read through. But anyway, this was
Is
good.
this going on YouTube's?
This will go on my YouTube.
YouTube's?
Yeah.
Okay. I will be in the comments with my account. Yeah.
Ooh, don't
Well,
ask.
not on all of the comments, depending on some of them, but I will be in the comments. Yeah.
No, that sounds good. Anyway, I really do appreciate you taking the time. Honestly, like this is insight that I mean, how I'd say it this way. I appreciate you giving so much insight or behind the scenes because people feel like, well, all right, this past weekend I was doing a class up the other side of the country, and there was a bunch of people there. Like they were talking, not knowing that I even know you. It's just the T-Rex stuff comes up. I'm like, oh yeah, I like Lucas, or I got into shooting because of Lucas. So anyway, I think you've had an effect for sure on people getting interested in shooting and training and kind of the running and gunning kind of stuff. So people like knowing what's going
Yeah.
on. You were kind of the behind the scenes. So anyway, I appreciate you giving us that. I think people find it interesting.
Yeah. No, that's fun. And I will say, I was originally hoping not to do shooting content in some ways. Um, and then I was at Nationals. Uh, it's probably a God thing. It really is a God thing. Because I've been on the fence of doing shooting content. Because like I don't want to say I've done it all. I've done a lot of shooting content.
Sure.
And I had 3 people on the super squad come up to me and say, I got into shooting because of your videos.
Not
Thank you.
surprised.
And then they walk off to like keep pacing or shooting. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, this
dominates
is the
that.
super squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, maybe I need to keep making content to like get more guys into this. And it is actually fun because the nationals, this is my first year going, but I've like known a lot of the people over the years. It had and talking to some of the guys there, it had a very different vibe than probably previous nationals where it's a lot more younger guys who carry guns and they're shooting somewhat normal guns. It was also the carry optics one, so I know that
Sure.
brings out like that crowd.
Mhm.
Um, it just seems like there's a big shift in the type of people who are placing at a high level and what kind of people those are. And it was just wild seeing even firsthand how many of them came up to me who grew up on my videos and up to Brantley. There were multiple people who came up to like, hey, Lucas, I got into shooting because of your videos. Brantley, I got really good at shooting once I found your videos, which is great. And I know I was kind of like, oh, crap, I probably do need to keep making shooting videos so that more young people will see them and get inspired, and then they'll find you or Brantley after, and then can go to nationals and get on the super squad. Because that's super cool. That won't be everyone though, obviously. Very few people get to do that, but
Inspire them and
that
educate
was
them
exactly,
and then equip them
yeah.
to go
So
out
that
to matches.
and then and equip them with product, yeah. So
Couldn't help myself.
that was very, yeah, that was very cool to get that in person, and I was blown away. I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's wild. You grew up watching me, and now you're here. There's no way.
Hey,
So
plot twist for people that play Call of Duty. if you look at a lot of those gun manipulations, and if you watch Lucas shoot, plot twist, a lot of those gun
Yeah.
manipulations
No,
are
no, no, no,
still
no. No,
Lucas.
only 2019. Only 2019. The animations got crap afterwards. That wasn't
Okay.
my doing. It's only 2019.
It's still the way
Fine.
you press check a Glock. That is like I see
Yeah,
that.
it is. It
If it's
is.
starting like the gulag and it pulls off the like Glock 17, like press check, I'm like, oh, that's Lucas's animation. I've seen that enough.
Yeah, it is. They had my videos playing all the time.
Dude, it's pretty fantastic.
Oh,
All right. Well,
it's
anyway,
fun.
I'll call it here. Thank you again. Seriously, I really do appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you for letting me come on.
Pleasure's all mine.